Today, we're diving into a business strategy that is so out there it almost sounds made up. It's a story about a tech giant at the top of its game, facing a crisis that it basically created for itself. This is the echo chamber gambit. So let's just jump right in with the central question, because it's a real head-scratcher. Imagine you are the absolute king of the smartphone world. You make the most advanced, most sophisticated devices on the planet. Why in the world would you decide to bring back the pager? You know, that little plastic box from the 90s? To even begin to understand this, you have to know the company we're talking about, Teknova Communications. And let me be clear, this isn't some quirky little startup. This is a heavyweight, a titan of the industry, which makes this whole pivot even more shocking. For years, decades, if you thought about cutting-edge tech in your pocket, you were thinking about Teknova. They weren't just another company in the market. For a long, long time, they were the market. Their name basically meant you were holding the future. Just look at their track record. It's just this relentless push forward. They started out by totally changing the game with feature phones. Then they hit their golden age, just dominating with smartphones. From there, they built these huge software ecosystems, and were even on the verge of cracking AI personal assistants. This is a company that only knows how to look forward, never back. And their success wasn't an accident. It was built on some serious strengths. Unbelievable R&D, hardware that was built like a tank, and software that just made sense. But maybe the most important thing, they had this deep, almost psychic understanding of what people wanted in a super-connected world. Now hang on to that last thought, because it's about to get really, really ironic. But, every great story has a turning point. And for Teknova, the threat wasn't a new competitor with a flashier phone. Nope. It was a ghost, a theory, a fear that made them question the very thing that made them successful in the first place. Existential crisis. Wow, those are some heavy words. We're not talking about a dip in quarterly profits here. The threat wasn't a new piece of tech from a rival. It was an idea they called the Great Disconnection. And the scariest part? It was a threat that came from inside the house, from their own futurists. So what exactly is this Great Disconnection? Well, it's a theory, a big what if. It's the belief that eventually all of us would get so overwhelmed, so burned out by our always-on, do-everything smartphones, that we would actively start to unplug, that we'd want to retreat from the exact world that Teknova had helped build. Okay, so faced with this potential apocalypse, you think they'd build a smarter, quieter phone, right? Or double down on some new kind of innovation? No. Instead, they made one of the most radical, most bizarre pivots in business history. They hit the rewind button hard. Their big solution to the problem of having way too much technology was a pager. I'm not kidding you. Of course, they gave it a sleek, modern name. They called it the Mindful Beep. It was a device designed for a future where people intentionally wanted less. So this is the core of their strategy, and it's a huge trade-off. Teknova is literally betting that people will choose to give up the hyper-connected, all-in-one world of their smartphone and all its distractions for the quiet, focused, single-purpose world of the Mindful Beep. It's a gamble that mindful is more valuable than multifunction. And that really brings us to the heart of it all. Is this a stroke of absolute genius? Are they seeing a future that no one else can? Or is this just complete corporate madness? A company so scared of a phantom threat that they're willing to abandon everything that made them great? Let's dissect this gamble. What they're doing here, it touches on some of the biggest questions any business can face. How do you plan for a future that might not even happen? How do you pivot so hard that you go against your own strengths? This isn't just a story about a pager. It's about whether a company can really control its own destiny. And when you look at the possible outcomes, there is absolutely no middle ground. It's all or nothing. On one side, if they're right, they're pioneers. They create this massive new mindful tech market and redefine how we communicate. But if they're wrong, it's lights out. The company becomes a punchline, the brand is destroyed, and the whole thing is a catastrophic failure. So, we end on this massive hanging question. Is Teknova showing us some incredible foresight, getting ready for a future that the rest of us just can't see yet? Or is this just a profound, maybe even fatal, mistake born out of fear and speculation? I'll leave you with this. If you were the CEO, what call would you make?